All right, so today we are going like deep into conversation.
Ooh.
I
Fun.
know, right? You shared some awesome lectures on this, and whoa, my mind is like blown.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much like we just don't even think about when we talk to each other.
It really is. We just kind of think, oh, conversation, it's easy, it's natural.
Yeah.
But there's a lot going on under the surface.
Like we're all dancing on this invisible conversation dance floor, taking turns,
Right.
trying not to step on each other's toes. I love that analogy.
It's a good one.
Yeah. But even more fascinating is that like even little sounds can mean something.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Tell me more about that.
Well, we make those little noises all the time, like, uh-huh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, right?
Yeah.
But those aren't just random sounds.
Oh,
Linguists call that backchanneling.
backchanneling.
And it's actually super important for showing, like, engagement, you know?
Oh, so it's like a way of saying I'm listening. Go on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
What?
Those same sounds, you can use them to, like, disagree or even manipulate.
Yeah.
So I might think someone's agreeing with me,
Mhm.
and then they totally disagree at the end.
Exactly. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute.
I've had that happen.
Yeah, it can be jarring. And it's not just those sounds. Like, think about giving compliments.
Okay.
Even like a little downgrade can signal disagreement sometimes without even realizing it.
So, like, if I said, that's a stunning dress,
Right.
and someone goes, it's pretty,
Yeah.
are they, like, low-key saying they don't love it?
They could be.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Are we trying not to seem too excited? Or is it like a cultural thing where some places value like playing it cool more than others?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how many unspoken rules we're all, like, juggling
Right.
without even knowing it. And,
Yeah.
speaking of unspoken rules, the lectures talked about direct versus indirect communication. This is like my Achilles heel. I am the queen of I'm busy when I mean no thanks.
That is the classic indirect language.
And we do it all the time to be polite, to avoid confrontation.
Yeah.
Or sometimes just to protect ourselves.
Sure.
But even though indirectness has its place, learning to decode, it can be a real superpower.
Oh, yeah.
And using it strategically, too.
It's like a secret language for all those awkward social situations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you need someone to do something, but you don't want to sound bossy, you could say, I was wondering if you could possibly...
Right.
It gives them an out while still getting your point across.
So it's like getting your needs met, but like respecting boundaries at the same time.
Exactly.
But what about those harder conversations that challenge someone's sense of self?
Oh, yeah.
The lectures called these face-threatening acts.
Yes.
What does that even mean?
So these are things you say that could damage someone's face, like their image, or how much control they feel they have.
Okay.
And it could be anything from criticism to asking for something to even giving advice.
Yeah, I can see how those could go wrong.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The key is to be aware of how our words might make someone feel.
Right.
And to use strategies to, like, soften the blow.
Okay. How do you do that?
So, like, with criticism, instead of this presentation was a disaster, you might say, I really appreciate all the work you put into this, and I think it would be even stronger if we focused on,
Yeah,
you see what I mean?
that's much better.
You're respecting their face while still giving feedback. And this is especially important at work where there's, like, power dynamics and reputations involved.
Totally. Now, speaking of work, we've all heard about using flattery to get ahead. Is there a way to do that without being fake?
Absolutely.
Hey.
While, like, blatant flattery can backfire, there are subtle strategies that work.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are they?
Well, one thing you can do is turn flattery into advice seeking. Like, you could say to a colleague, you're so skilled at data analysis, could you give me some tips on... It's a genuine compliment, but you're also learning something.
Right. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So smart. But what about when you have to disagree with your boss or like a superior? How do you do that without like hurting your career?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It's all about finding the balance, between saying what you think and respecting the hierarchy.
Right.
One way is to offer a little resistance before agreeing with them. So instead of jumping right to, yes, that's brilliant,
Yeah.
you could say, I see what you're saying. I hadn't thought about it that way before.
Oh, that's good.
Right.
It shows you're like thinking it through.
Exactly. And of course, always be respectful in your tone, even when you disagree.
Okay. Good advice. This is making me think about job interviews.
Oh, yeah.
They're like high pressure conversations where everything we're talking about is amplified.
It's true. It's like a performance. you know,
Totally.
where you're trying to sell yourself and read the room and be likable.
It's a lot. How do
Yeah.
you do it without seeming like you're bragging?
Well, one strategy is the humble brag. Instead of saying, I'm so great at this,
Right.
you frame it in a way that shows gratitude or credits others. Like, I was lucky to lead that project and learned so much from the amazing team.
That's so good. It's like
Mhm.
you're still showcasing your skills,
Yeah,
but you're not being arrogant about it.
exactly. But sometimes it feels like interviews are all about selling yourself. How do you stay authentic? That's such a good point because authenticity is key. People can spot a fake a mile away.
Right?
I think the best thing is to focus on your passion for the work and the company. When you're genuinely excited, it shows.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've talked about work, but what about communication in healthcare?
Oh, interesting.
The doctor-patient relationship is so complex, with all the technical stuff and the power
It
dynamics.
really is. And sometimes patients feel intimidated or overwhelmed, which makes it hard to communicate.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've been there. You feel rushed or like you don't want to bother the doctor?
I get it. One of the best things you can do is be prepared.
Okay.
Research your condition beforehand, write down your questions, and think of it as a conversation, not a lecture.
So be an active participant.
Exactly. Advocate for yourself, make sure you understand your diagnosis, treatment options, everything.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's your health. You have the right to know what's going on.
That's empowering. Okay, let's shift gears to personal relationships. We talked about power dynamics at work, but those exist in friendships and romance too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in any close relationship, communication is key.
Right.
The lectures mentioned report talk versus report talk. You notice that?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just need to vent about my day. I don't need solutions, just someone to listen.
Exactly. That's report talk. It's about connection, not information.
Makes sense.
Recognizing those styles can help us understand our partner better.
It's like they're speaking a different love language.
Exactly. But how do you know when to just listen versus offer advice?
That is the question.
Sometimes just ask, what do you need right now?
Oh, I love that.
It shows you're present and care about their needs.
Simple but effective. This might sound weird, but the lectures mention how couples who are in sync start to mirror each other's language.
It sounds strange, but there's actually research on it. It's called language style matching. And studies show that couples who subconsciously use similar words and grammar tend to be happier.
Whoa, their brains are literally on the same wavelength.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean couples who don't match are doomed.
Oh,
The
good.
important thing is that they develop communication patterns that work for them.
So it's about finding a rhythm together.
Exactly. And that takes effort, attention, and willingness to adapt.
Like learning a new dance.
I like that analogy.
Right.
It captures the essence of healthy communication.
Speaking of dancing, we can't forget about body language. Sometimes it feels like it's saying something totally different than our words.
Absolutely. Nonverbal cues play a huge role, especially in close relationships where we're attuned to those subtle signals.
So how do we make sure our body language is aligned with our words?
It starts with awareness. Pay attention to your posture, your expressions, your tone. Are you leaning in or pulling away? Are your arms crossed or open? Those things speak volumes.
So be mindful of our own body language and learn to read our partners.
Exactly. And be intentional about creating a space for open communication. That means listening without judgment, speaking your truth with kindness, and being vulnerable.
Because when we feel safe, it's easier to be ourselves.
Absolutely. And vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength. It's the key to intimacy. When we allow ourselves to be seen, it deepens the bond and creates space for love and acceptance.
I love that perspective. It makes vulnerability beautiful and powerful. But what about when we mess up? How do we apologize and make things right?
Apologizing well is an art. It's more than just saying, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's about acknowledging the impact of our actions, taking responsibility, and expressing remorse.
So actions speak louder than words.
Exactly. It's about showing that you understand the hurt you caused.
Ah.
But even the best apology means nothing without a willingness to change your behavior.
So it's about learning from your mistakes and doing better.
You got it. It takes self-awareness, humility, and a commitment to growth.
Those apologies have to be real, not just to smooth things over.
Exactly. And while apologies are important, don't forget about appreciation. A simple thank you can go a long way.
It's like a deposit in the relationship bank account.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it's not just grand gestures. It's about noticing the little things.
Like doing the dishes or making coffee.
Yes. Those small gestures build love and connection. And when we express gratitude, it makes our partner feel good and reminds us why we love them.
Speaking of love, the lectures mentioned love languages.
Ah,
Remind us what that means.
it suggests that we express and experience love in different ways. Some through words, others through acts of service or quality time.
Okay.
Understanding our own and our partner's love language can help us communicate more effectively.
So speak their love language fluently. But what if they clash? Like one person is all about touch and the other is about gifts.
That's where communication and compromise come in. It's about understanding there's no one right way to express love and finding what works for both partners.
Like learning each other's love dialect.
Exactly.
Hmm.
But even with the best intentions, disagreements happen. The lectures talked about fighting fair.
Oh yeah, how do you do that?
Conflict is inevitable, but how we handle it matters. Focus on the issue and avoid bringing up the past.
So no bringing of that time they forgot our anniversary 3 years ago?
Exactly. Fight clean and stay on topic. Another tip is to use I statements instead of you statements.
So I feel hurt when this happens instead of you always do this.
Yes, I statements de-escalate conflict and encourage empathy.
It's about owning your emotions. But things can get heated. How do you stay calm?
Taking a break can help. If you feel overwhelmed, step away for a few minutes to cool down.
Hit the pause button.
Exactly. And when you come back, approach it with curiosity, not judgment. Try to understand their perspective.
So turn it into a problem-solving session.
Exactly. And even when you disagree, be respectful and avoid personal attacks.
Because words can hurt.
Absolutely. And sometimes the most loving thing is to just listen and validate their feelings, even if you disagree.
It's about making them feel heard.
Exactly. And speaking of safe spaces, don't forget about vulnerability in relationships. Opening up can be scary, but it's key to intimacy.
How do you create that safe space?
It starts with trust. Knowing your partner will listen without judgment, respect your boundaries, and be there for you.
It's about being yourself and knowing you'll be loved.
Exactly. And it's two-way. You can't expect them to be vulnerable if you aren't.
So a reciprocal exchange that deepens the bond.
You got it. Vulnerability breeds vulnerability. The more we open up, the stronger the relationship.
That's beautiful. It makes vulnerability courageous.
Yeah.
But even in loving relationships, we hurt each other. How do we forgive?
Forgiveness is tough, but healing. It's not about condoning the behavior or forgetting. It's about releasing resentment so you can move forward.
Choosing love over bitterness.
Exactly. And it's not a one-time thing. It's ongoing. It takes patience, compassion, and seeing the good in them.
We're all works in progress.
Absolutely. And speaking of challenges, don't forget self-care.
Can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Prioritize your well-being so you can show up as your best self.
So it's not selfish to put ourselves first.
No, it's essential. When we take care of ourselves, we can handle challenges better.
Like the oxygen mask analogy. Yeah. But even with self-care, we sometimes speak different languages. How do we bridge that gap?
Listen, truly, listen to understand, not to reply.
Hearing the message behind the words.
Exactly. Tune in to the emotions and nonverbal cues.
Listen with our hearts.
Beautifully said. And when we listen with empathy, they feel heard and understood.
It's like saying, I see you, I hear you, I'm here for you.
Powerful words. Now, what about digital communication? It seems like we're always on screens. How do we stay connected?
Yeah, it's a challenge.
It has advantages. We can stay in touch and share information quickly, but it's hard to convey tone and emotion.
Emojis can only do so much.
Exactly. We have to choose our words carefully, especially with sensitive topics.
So no breaking up over text.
Probably not. Some conversations are best in person, but digital communication can still connect us. It lets us share our lives and offer support. The key is to use it mindfully.
So it's a tool, not a replacement.
Exactly. Find the balance between digital and physical. Nothing replaces real human connection. I think it boils down to this conversation is a journey, not like a destination. You know? It's about being curious, always learning, being willing to adapt to create better relationships.
I like that. Takes the pressure off, like having to be perfect all the time.
Exactly. We're all learning and growing, and that's okay.
Yeah.
The important thing is to put in the effort.
Be mindful.
Yes, be present and intentional in how we talk to each other.
It's like we've been talking about becoming more aware of ourselves and the other person.
Right.
Like learning to speak the language of connection.
That's a great way to put it. And fluency comes with practice.
Yeah.
The more we pay attention to these little details of conversation, the better we get at navigating those tricky social situations and building those strong, authentic relationships.
This deep dive has given me so much to think about. You know, if language alignment can predict like romantic compatibility, could it also be used to like connect better with friends, family, even colleagues?
That's a really interesting question.
Like, could we consciously mirror someone's language to build rapport?
It really highlights how much we still don't know
Yeah.
about how communication works.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so fascinating.
Totally.
There's always more to learn and more ways to connect.
I feel like we've been given a secret decoder ring
Uh-huh.
for understanding conversation. I'm excited to go out there and use all
Me
this.
too.
Yeah,
And remember, the best conversations are the ones that are genuine and respectful and come from the heart.
that's so true. When we come from that place, amazing things can happen.
Absolutely.
This has been an incredible journey into conversation. We've covered so much, and I hope our listeners are feeling inspired to be more mindful, more intentional, and just better communicators.
Me too.
So, what does all this mean for you, dear listener? What stood out to you today? What are you curious to explore further? We'd love to hear your thoughts in those aha moments. Until next time, happy conversing.